Cool. Please be seated, everyone. Cool. So thank you everyone for coming to tonight's meeting of the Macclesfield Town Council Full Council meeting. So I will kick straight off with item 1. Apologies for absence.
So there's Councillor Warren, Councillor Gilman, Councillor Hale, Councillor Hutchison and Councillor Bennett Lake.
Thank you very much. And do we have any declarations of interest? No. Wonderful. In that case, we'll move straight on to item 8, the public speaking bit. So first of all, we'll take, in fact, just one amendment to the agenda, if I may. After item 8.2, I'd like to propose we move the item on the Business Improvement District up. Are council happy to accept that?
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry, could you repeat that, Jim?
So I'm proposing that we move the Business Improvement District up to after item 8.2.
Oh, thank you.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So we'll do that. So in that case, we'll take our first public speaker, which is Beat Inspector Nick Rogers from Cheshire Police.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the introduction. I am the, as I've stated previously, when I've come to these meetings, I'm the Community Beat Inspector for Nutford and Bromlow, but I'm here representing all of Macclesfield LPU and Chief Inspector Zoe Bowden. Zoe's asked me to highlight a few points that she thinks would be of interest to you this evening. So a little bit around our general performance since April. So we've had a really strong 3 months with regards to our positive outcome detection rates and offenders brought to justice in the area of shoplifting, in particular around the town centre. That's currently sitting at 27%, so probably one of the highest across the entire force at this minute in time, which is something that we as an LPU are extremely proud of. Off the back of that, that's obviously gone on to support the application for the town centre PSPO, which is now in place and will run for the next 3 years. So that work is going hand in hand, so it just shows what a value it is to the town centre. Second element, an area that she would like me to discuss with yourselves, is our approach to protecting the most vulnerable in society, particularly around domestic abuse. Again, since April to date, we've had a 24% positive outcome detection rate, which again is very, very strong and something that we're proud of across the LPU as a whole. Just moving on, our grade 1 performance, which is our attendance to emergency incidents within 15 minutes, is currently sitting at 93%. So again, that is really, really strong in this area of business. And our grade 2s, which is us attending an incident within an hour, is also sitting at 90%. So both of those are above the force target, and again, just shows the hard work that we're doing. We ran Op Crossbow on the 23rd of June, which was an Eastern area thing. It was an operation put together to target a number of things, wanted people. We deployed a dog to the train station to target people who will be carrying drugs in and out of the train station. Very, very successful day of action. So that particular day we had 16 stop searches to conduct at the train station, 5 of which were positive. So 3 were summoned to court, and then the rest would give us something which is called a community resolution, which is shown as a detection for ourselves. In addition to that, we did a lot of speed enforcement across different areas across Macclesfield. So we did speed enforcement at Ivy Lane, Shelford Road, Macclesfield Road and Presby Road. Highlighted that Presby Road is a particular issue for ourselves, so we'll be deploying the speed enforcement van there once it's had a site assessment moving forward at the late end of the summer. We also seized a large quantity of illegal vapes from a premises in the town centre, and trading standards are taking that forward to prosecute those offenders who were selling those vapes. So it's good that we managed to get those off the streets. And then in addition, we had 3 arrests for wanted priority people on ourselves. So it really was a successful day of action. Off the back of that, this Wednesday coming, we are running something very, very similar, but it is just for Macclesfield Town Centre. So it's a Safer Streets initiative. You may have seen it advertised. So that is going again to be working with local businesses, conducting a survey with regards to their safety and security in the town centre. Again, we've got the drugs dogs down at the train station, taxi licences in particular and illegal use of those. You may have seen again also in the press across the LPU as a whole, so not just centred to Maxfield, but I think it's worth noting that we have had 14 charges and 14 remands for people who have committed car and key burglaries across the area. So again, that is a real positive impact for us, and we actually went all over the country arresting these offenders. So brief overview of what has been going on. It's started as a very busy summer for us, and will probably continue right the way through until the end of September, early October. That's where we're at.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions? Councillor Edwards.
Yeah, a couple of things. Did you say keyless cars?
Yeah, car and key burglaries, so where they
Car and key.
Yeah.
With the searching of people at the station, was it a little baggie of weed or anything like that?
It was all cannabis. It's all cannabis. So the drugs that the dogs that we have employed to come in and help us, they are specifically trained as cannabis drugs dogs. So that's all they can look at, unfortunately.
Thank you.
It's still a fantastic deterrent because they're walking through there and then they're going to get potentially searched if they've got something on them. So.
Brilliant, Councillor Wilson.
Yes, thank you very much indeed for coming along and talking us through the work taking place in Macclesfield. It's very encouraging to hear about the work that's going on in the town centre, which is a particular topic of interest of the town councils. And certainly the Safer Streets initiative is something that the government's brought forward, which we're very proud and pleased to be involved in. At the last meeting, Zoe did say that she would let us have details of the police constables and the police community support officers in our wards, because we all represent parts of Macclesfield. Certainly in my ward, I've been working very closely with PCSO News regarding the perennial issue of parking outside schools, and he's been very helpful in terms of the situation at Christ the King School. But it's always very useful for us as councillors to know who we can go to assist us with issues like that. So if you could perhaps ask Zoe to let's have that information, because what we tend to do in our ward is we go on what we call a ward walk, when we walk around the wards with the PCSO generally, and it's very encouraging to see how well the PCSOs do know the local families, etc. And the community policing is very important.
If you go, obviously we can provide those details for you in a written form, that's not a problem, but if you go onto the Cheshire Police website, where there's a section where it says enter your location and your address, you just literally put in your details there, whatever ward name it is or road, it brings up absolutely everything about who your PCs are, who the response cops are, what activities are taking place, when the surgeries are taking place, etc. So it's all on there, but obviously we can provide it in whatever format.
Yeah. I have tried that, but I couldn't find any information, so
I'll
look again.
guarantee you that it's definitely there.
I will double check. Thank you.
Councillor Livingston.
Yeah, so as you know, Deputy Mayor, we are both the ward councillors for the centre of Macclesfield. So just kind of pass a thanks back on to your colleagues that there's a number of issues where there's been antisocial behaviour and a shelter block around an old mill building. We've seen them take action almost immediately after we've contacted them, or one of our fellow councillors have contacted them. So can we just pass on my thanks for the responsiveness?
Fantastic. Councillor Woodcock.
Once again, I'd just like to echo the thanks from fellow councillors about the work that the police are doing. You just mentioned about Cheshire Police's website. I've actually just been on to have a look if the details for Broken Cross and Upton have been updated. Unfortunately, it's still showing as a PC that's not, I think it's moved on, so that needs updating.
Use that, I'll take it away. It's not my area, but...
No, that's fair enough. It's still showing up as Cecil Ricardo. I think he's moved.
Yeah, he's gone to Knutsford.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll feed it back to my opposite number.
Brilliant, thank you.
Does anyone else have anything they want to ask? No? Brilliant. Well, in that case, can I thank you very much for coming. We always value the close engagement that we have with Cheshire Police, and we'll look to continue working closely with you. So thank you very much. I will now take the report from Will McKellar from Citizen Advice Bureau.
Thanks very much indeed. Yes, I am Will McKellar. I'm Chief Officer of Advice Cheshire North. Hopefully you've all had sight of my report. I think for the 3 months finishing quarter, we've had 949 clients. That's unique clients, so some of those clients we will see multiple times, but we only count a client once in any given period. So it's 949. The previous quarter, the quarter just gone, it was 795, which is kind of more representative of a typical 3-month period, and that's still reducing down to 66 clients per week. And again, the issues, which are unique problems, and I know I've said previously, but one client will often bring several problems. Some people have they lose their job, they've got employment issues, they've got access to financial support, and also financial commitments, debt type issues. So for the previous quarter, it was 2,125. The quarter just gone, it was 1,828. So that's 152 separate problems per week. Which, when I compare it to other quarters, as I said before, I think it's the previous quarter was just especially high. And as far as financial gains for clients, the quarter just gone, it was just over £389,000, whereas for the previous quarter it was a massive £680,000. The kind of issues that we're dealing with are pretty much the same though. A lot of welfare benefits, housing issues, employment, debt, the kind of stuff that relates to cost of living, unfortunately. We are seeing more, a steady number of clients with immigration issues. And immigration, similar to debt, it's regulated. And so there's only so much that can be done around immigration without having additional qualifications. Even so, it's still quite a complex and can be quite demanding area of inquiry. And linked to that is something I was going to pull out. I don't think I had to put it in the report, but a progressive increase in the requirement for interpreter services. And I plotted it from December 24, where for that month our cost, how much we spent on immigration, was £70.42, whereas in May just gone it was £607.13. And over that period there's been a general increase. Some of that is just numbers, and some of that is the complexity of the issues. That means that we have to make use of interpreter services. And increasingly we're seeing clients with little or no spoken English. As I say, the range of the issues that we're dealing with are what generally would be expected with in relation to cost of living, but not exclusively. And hopefully that's reflected in the case studies that I've included. Issues around simply the administration of universal credit, for example, domestic violence, a couple of cases there that have multiple issues that show the kind of complexity of the issues that we're dealing with, and also clients with mental health issues. If there's anything that the council would like to see in future reports, I'm always happy to edit, include, maybe take away some stuff to completely whatever the council wants to see. And as I said, I'm very happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for Will at all from councillors? No? Okay, well in that case, Will, can I thank you very much as always for coming. We really appreciate the work that you do, and if anyone has any feedback they want to give, then please do feel free to get in touch. Thank you very much. So I'll move on to the item that we've moved up now, so we'll go straight to item 13 on the Business Improvement District. So are we having Chris and Justine speak? Perfect. Chris and Justine, do you want to speak to the council about the proposal you've got?
So, yes, hello, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Chris Bentley, Hearts Council, Justine. We're both here as representatives of Macclesfield New Business CIC. This group was set up, this group of business owners in Macclesfield before the pandemic, and it was originally a networking group. Over time, it has moved to you want to say that now? So I pitched this, so we pitched this at the right level.
Is there anyone that wants an introduction to a business improvement district? Or
Sorry, do I hear is dealing with improvement of the town centre?
so
Is this to do with a consultation or just yourselves?
It comes associated with the session that was held in May, and what we're looking to do is set up a business improvement district, which would be a levy on business rates for businesses within the improvement district boundary to create a pot of cash that could be used for the benefit of the town centre.
perfect. Okay. If you want to continue, then I think are we all happy with the idea?
Yep.
Perfect. Cool.
So the idea is that the business improvement district, there are successful ones locally. Stockport and Altrincham are probably two well-known examples where the town centres have turned around and where there are long-established business improvement districts. Winslow has set one up recently, as has Crewe, the last year or two, for both of those. The idea behind a business improvement district is not to stand on the toes of the excellent work that the town council is already doing. The idea is to take it further. In terms of exactly what that might mean, that is something for a feasibility study. Ideas that have come up have included the fact that having bid in place opens up the opportunity to claim grants which are not currently available. They might be used, for example, to fund the maintenance of capital improvements which the council can get grants for. Sorry. Other things that may well be, yes, is communications, tourism, work with the charitable sector. All of these things are potential aims for a business improvement district. It isn't a one-size-fits-all. People can set that up in a way that the town council, as a key stakeholder, and businesses within the perimeter would want. A good starting point to sum it up. So the That Means Business have had a series of meetings over the last two to 3 years, including with retail and hospitality sectors, both of which are key to the town centre, with charitable and third sector organisations, just to gauge support. And I know that this came up before the council in December, before Christmas. Further work was asked for. We've engaged with the town centre recovery working group. The session held in May. Broadly, feedback from the public, and this was as public as we could gone, was positive. Yes, there are questions around how the smallest businesses will pay for that, where would the boundaries be set. These are all things for feasibility study. The next stage would be to take that to a feasibility study. We've obtained 2 quotes. Last year it was for that feasibility study, and to propose the Mosaic one. What we're now looking to do is gain the council's approval to move forward with the feasibility study and costs towards that.
So what we've got in front of us is obviously a proposal to fund the feasibility study. Councillor Wilson, do you want to speak on it at all?
Yes, I'd like to first of all thank you, Deputy Mayor. First of all, I'd like to move that Macclesfield Town Council agrees the allocation of £9,984, including VAT, towards a bid feasibility study, and I'd like to speak once it's second, please.
Perfect. Do we have a seconder for the proposal? Councillor Livingston?
I'm happy to second that.
Perfect. So I'll take Councillor Wilson you first, and then if anyone else wants to speak, we'll go after. So Councillor Livingston after.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Chair. I'd first of all like to thank Chris and Justine for coming along this evening to talk us through the proposal that we have in front of us at this meeting. Chris has quite rightly said, and we will recall we discussed this at our meeting in December, where we had a number of questions, and I think our main point at that stage was to make sure that the bid process and the bid documentation worked together with what's happening already, that we actually added value to what's here already, and I think the proposals we have in front of us absolutely do that. I think we really have made some excellent progress. There's been some key milestones along the way in that progress, and I think one of the main milestones was our town centre consultation on the 17th of May, where we brought together both businesses and residents to talk about a whole range of issues. And in fact, at agenda item 11, Chair, there is a list and a report back of that meeting, and it clearly says there the discussions that took place about the governance and the bid and communications, and I think it was a really good opportunity for us as councillors and for other colleagues, including our MP Tim Rocker, who does support Business Improvement District, to discuss through the residents, and we were able to talk through, and I think more questions came forward at that stage, and I think everybody felt we clarified in our minds the real benefit this would be to Macclesfield itself. I think the really key thing here that we need to bear in mind is that whilst we as a town council can't give state aid to businesses, we support independence locally as best we possibly can. We can't finance or fund businesses because that would be completely inappropriate. I'm not saying the bid would do that, but what the bid can do, as I'm aware from my role at Cheshire East Council in terms of the Chair of the Economy and Growth Committee, that the bid will be able to get grants that we won't be able to have access to because we're a public body. So from my personal point of view, we can't always apply for grants. We've made good use of the Shared Prosperity Fund and issues like that. So I think we've made really good progress. I very strongly recommend that we support this bid. I'm very much looking forward to working together with Macmeans Business to take this forward. And also the Town Centre Regeneration Working Group, which I chair. We're going from strength to strength on that. It was originally set up during COVID times, and we've made some excellent progress. And I very much hope that Macmeans Business will take up a seat once again on the Regeneration Working Group, because I think that would really enhance our work in this area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Livingston?
Yeah, so I won't try and repeat everything Councillor Wilson has said, but I think a couple of points from me. I think thank you to Macmeans Business. They do this on a voluntary basis as well, as we do as town councillors, but with a common purpose. The common purpose is looking at regenerating the town centre of Macclesfield, which is, as we know from the consultation, something that our residents want and wish us to be doing. I think that through the conversation that the Town Council asked us to have with Macmeans Business, we've shaped it in a different way. We've had a different feel to it. It's about what this will do in addition to what the Town Council do and what complements what we do. So that the grant point is a good one that Councillor Wilson makes and has been made by Macmeans Business. I think it's about the ability to market Macclesfield as a destination, because I think that is part of the future in the town. And also the recognition of that we need to attract people, so we need to become a destination to increase the amount of footfall there is in the town centre. Those things will bring employment and it will bring a greater degree of prosperity to the town. So I think the other part of this is a feasibility study that we're involved with and will be able to help shape the nature of the bid that comes through, because it is connected to the Regeneration Working Group. So on that basis, I am fully supportive of Councillor Wilson's and the motion to agree to the feasibility study.
Brilliant, thank you. Councillor Harewood?
Thank you. Having listened to the bid and the interest, can I ask how many businesses have so far agreed to put money and time in? How many businesses do you know about so far? stage?
The feasibility study was go through that process.
But you haven't actually yet asked
There
for
are-
this.
There are a number of businesses who have joined or attended, should I say, the meetings of Macquarie's business and have been favourable in terms of their thoughts towards a bid. The largest contributors are the likes of Tesco, Sainsbury's, the big retailers, because it's based on local values. We know that, for example, Tesco are favourable towards business improvement districts. If I'm trying to remember, were you at the session on the 17th of May? I had at that session a list of those who had attended the Macquarie's business groups and the businesses that have been asked and have been involved in the consultation at that point.
Councillor,
Another question.
but if I just bring in Councillor Wilson just quickly to answer.
Take all the
Yeah,
questions.
okay, go on. Councillor Harewood, do you want to ask your question and then we'll come
I
back?
just, you have, thank you for answering. So you said, has Tesco committed any other?
No one has been asked.
No.
No one has been asked to formally commit one way or the other at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wilson.
Are there any, and I can cover my right to reply if there are any other questions.
Yeah, Councillor Edward then.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. It's just a simple question, really. The people who are sitting on this sort of board or whatever, I recognise most of the names. Is Tony Jones from Orbit Developments and the Emerson Group?
Yes.
So he's on the he's one of the directors of the CIC, but that is not necessarily what the makeup of the bid board would be. Well, if the feasibility study goes ahead and it's decided that a bid is going to happen and people in agreement, once the bid exists, then the bid board representatives who are going to sit as board members will be decided upon, and that might not necessarily be all of the CIC directors. It has to be representative of the business.
My point is that this Orbit Developments and Emerson Group and so on have done a tremendous amount in the past in moving businesses out of Macclesfield Town Centre. For instance, Lime Green Settlement, Lime Green Park there has Next, which had a very big shop in Macclesfield, I understand. It's just a little bit worrying, but as you assured me that these people will be sort of hand-picked for the job when it actually comes. Thank you.
And I think I would add to that to be on the bid board, you need to be a contributor to the bid.
Good.
So it would be businesses who are within the boundary. Or
Okay.
ratepayers from
Thank
within
you.
that.
Thank you. And I think the key point to emphasise obviously is the proposal in front of us is a feasibility study that will help us to actually shape what the bid will look like. So it's not like we're voting today on just forming the bid, it's to actually help play a part in making sure it's right for the town. So, Councillor Wilson, do you want the right of reply on anything?
Yeah, so I just wanted to use the right to reply, Chair, just to cover some of the points that have come up regarding the process here. Macclesfield Means Business is the community interest company who are bringing forward the proposal to have a bid. And their makeup and their membership is of a whole range of local businesses and service providers. And it mentions in the documentation the directors of the community interest company. But I do know from seeing the minutes of the meeting, there's quite a wide range of people who are part of Macclesfield Means Business across the piece in terms of local businesses, independent businesses as well as I mean the likes of Tesco, Boots, those sort of companies, they have a track record of supporting bids. It will be unlikely for them not to support the bid once we got to that stage. There was a representative from Macclesfield Means Business on the town centre recovery working group when it was in that iteration, but that person left Macclesfield, and I'm very much pleased to hear that Macclesfield Means Business will now replace somebody. This is a feasibility study for a business improvement district, so it's the council putting funds into looking into whether there is a possibility and need and support for a business improvement district. Now, involvement in the business improvement district will relate to businesses who are rate payers in Macclesfield, and the business rate threshold is £12,000. It's called a hereditament, and I won't even begin to explain that. But the bid board should, when we get to that stage, we've made up of people who actually are paying into the bid itself. So we've taken this process a number of times in our past as a town council, where we've invested money to look into the feasibility of doing something. We've done it to support a youth zone and other issues, because at the end of the day, we need to be finding out in a lot more detail what people locally think about it. And we've already started that process, and the response on the 17th of September, I believe, was a very positive response from both residents and businesses alike. So this is the start of the process. It's us having received a previous report, having asked a number of questions, having had meetings in the meantime, and now coming back with a feasibility study that is going to work towards complementing and working together with what the town council and local businesses are already doing. It's a joint effort, and I think that's one of the key things that we've made some very, very good progress on. So this is funding to look into the feasibility of a bid, and in this process we will be able to ascertain through the through Mosaic Partnership. Chris did say that you looked at 2 different providers. Mosaic are, there's a few, I mean, we've got other business improvement districts, and Mosaic are one of the ones that have done good work on this. So it's our investment to bring forward a proposal for our continued regeneration of our town centre, and I would strongly urge all colleagues to support it.
Brilliant. Do we have any other comments that anyone wants to make? No? In that case, can I, before we move to a vote, just say thank you to Chris and Justine from myself. I know you made the time to meet me. Obviously, you're both volunteers, just like we are in doing this, and to make the time to put all this effort in is really appreciated. And I think our job as a town council is to help facilitate positive change for the town centre through collaboration, and indeed the wider town. So I think that from my perspective, I think it's really great that we've got a really positive and sort of really strong proposal in front of us. So if everyone's content, we can move to the vote. So all those in favour of approving the feasibility study? And anybody against?
I'm abstaining.
Abstain? Thank you very much. So that item is passed. So the next steps we'll leave with you, shall we? Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you both for coming. You don't have to sit through the rest of the meeting if you don't want to, but we're really grateful, and we'll look forward to working closely with you on shaping this feasibility study.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both. Cool. In that case, we will move to item 8.3, which is the report from the Silk Museum. Oh, do we have to move all the way back? Apologies. Okay. In that case, we'll go back to item 3, which is the minutes of the full council meeting held on the 9th of June. Are we all content to approve the minutes?
Yep.
Do you need a proposer and a seconder? Yeah. Does anyone want to propose? Councillor Wilcock, do we have a seconder? Councillor Livingston, all those in favour of that? Perfect. Do we have any matters arising from those minutes at all?
I'm abstaining, I wasn't.
That's fine.
I abstained too because I was away. I have a matter arising, please, Chair.
Yeah, I'll bring you in then, Councillor Wilson.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Community Police Inspector Nick Rogers has left, because I want to refer back to the page 3 of the minutes of your last meeting where I wasn't present, and I'm sure I'll be corrected if I'm wrong, but it did talk about Zoe, Chief Inspector Bowden, providing us with updates towards responsibilities, and they're expected on the website this week. I have checked on the website regarding Macclesfield South, and I'm afraid the information I require isn't there. It does name a person who's responsible for Macclesfield South, which I haven't met yet. But the key point that we've tried to make repeatedly is that we need to be able to contact those police officers. And the only way you can contact the person mentioned on the website is by messaging them through the police system and 101, etc., which is, as we all probably have experienced, quite a lengthy process. What the councillors need and find very valuable is the ability to meet with our police constables or police community support officers and do ward walks with them and actually be able to talk to them and raise issues of concern in our wards. And there still is the case that we aren't able to do that because the individual named is not somebody I've come across before and I don't know how to contact them, and that is what we've asked for. So can I ask, please, can we ask for that again? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Do we have Councillor Edwards?
Can I just add to that?
Of course you can.
That it has worked in our ward. We do have the mobile phone numbers of the officers. They have been turning up for our surgeries and so on. The sad thing is that one of the PCSOs is leaving, and I understand he's not being replaced. But other than that, our system's working much better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other matter arising from those minutes? Nope. Thank you very much. I'll move then to item 5. So the meeting for the planning committee held on the 11th of June. Are we content to note the minutes? And do we need to propose and second that one as well? Perfect. Note them. Do we have any matters arising from those minutes at all? Fantastic. Finance committee. So again, to note the minutes. Are we all happy with that? Great. And then any matters arising before we move on to the proposal? No. In that case, we have item 6.3, which is to approve the spend to date of £111,597 as approved by Finance Committee. Do we have a proposer?
Obviously propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor. And do we have a seconder? Councillor Edwards. Perfect. All those in favour of that? Perfect. That's unanimous. And then finally, the minutes of Services Committee held on the 30th of June. Are we all content to note those minutes? Fantastic. And any matters arising? No. So then we'll move on to the item 8.3, Filth Museum report. We don't have Emma here today to present to us, so do we have any comments that we want to make about that, or are we happy to note the report? Yes.
Emma has significantly changed the look of the report, which I thought I read through. She wanted any feedback, so we had any feedback. I thought it was really quite good, collecting visitor numbers, that real sort of tangible evidence for bids, etc. But if there's anything you wanted, she said just to let her know.
I think it's really helpful. It gives you a real sense of what the museum's trying to do, where our grant funding is going in terms of supporting it. I think what they're doing is quite creative. That's what I think. Our job as councillors is to promote the museum and get more people in.
Couldn't agree more. Right. Do we have any other comments on Filth Museum report? No, in that case we'll note that. And then the report from CCTV, we don't have anyone here today. So they have sent a report, which is nice, because we have had to fight for that, I think it's fair to say. And I want to say thank you to the Town Clerk and everyone for fighting for that report, because I know it's been a long journey. It's a shame we don't have anyone here today to present, but do we have any comments that we want to make on the CCTV report at all? Councillor Livingston.
Just it's nice to have a report. Can we have another one at the next meeting, please?
I agree. Town Clerk.
They're going to do them every quarter,
Yeah.
so it might not line up,
Okay.
but we wanted to fit in with what they produced anyway.
Any other comments about that? No. So we'll move on to item 9. So item 9.1, we have the grants policy. I don't know if the Town Clerk wants to talk us through the changes at all.
The changes are mainly, we review policies every so often, and the changes are just tightening up on who we give grants to, what we expect, etc. So there's very minor changes in there, particularly around what can be difficult sometimes is political support. So we've just tightened it up to be able to, so when people come, they are clear when we give them a grant of what they can't do promotion-wise.
Thank you very much. Do we have any comments about that? No. So can we have a proposer to accept the report?
I'm happy to
propose.
Councillor Thompson, do we have a seconder?
Yes.
Councillor Wilson, all those in favour of the new policy? Thank you very much. Any abstentions? No, perfect, so that one is approved. Item 9.2, we've got the proposal that's come for a new Town Council champion. I have a suggestion that as Councillor Gilman isn't here and it's something that she's quite passionate about, that we defer that item until the next meeting so that she's able to speak about it, if everyone's content with that.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Chair, I didn't hear that. Somebody come forward wanting to be champion.
So Councillor Gilman has come forward with a proposal that she be our school liaison champion, but obviously because she's not here today, I'm proposing that we defer it. But Councillor Wilson, do you want to speak?
Well, yes, I'm happy, more than happy, of course, in Councillor Gilman's absence to leave the proposal regarding a school liaison champion, because I think it will be useful for us to hear a bit more about it. I do think that my recollection, Chair, is that you are our youth champion, and that we did deal with that at a previous meeting. So I think I'm certain that's the case, and so I'd like to move that we add Councillor James Barber as the youth champion to the list of council champions. And I must say, I also thought, Councillor Barber, that you were the chair of the transport group. So I think that if the list could be updated to include Councillor James Barber as a youth champion, also Councillor James Barber as the transport group chair, and the chair of the transport working group. I knew the word group was in there somewhere. I think that would bring it up to date in terms of the current position. So I'll move both those amendments if that can be seconded.
Perfect. Do we have a seconder?
Yeah,
Just
thank you.
Yeah.
And then I think in terms of Councillor Gilman's request to be a school liaison champion, I think it'd be really useful to hear from Councillor Gilman what that would entail, and that should be deferred in the absence of the councillor concerned, because we do want to listen to what she has to say about it.
Yeah, perfect. So we've got a proposed amendment. So are we all happy to go straight to the vote on that? Now we have a proposer and seconder. So all those in favour of the amendment to move me as the youth champion and transport? Thank you very much. Cool, that's unanimous. So item 10 is the South Park Pavilion update report. Councillor Livingston, you're over there today.
Yeah, well, you moved.
I'm used to you being over that
moved
way.
me and gave me a microphone. Two dangerous tactics. So just a reminder to fellow councillors that the design and the desire to proceed with the pavilion has been backed by 2 public consultations in the town, and that the design itself that we have is 2 stories, because it provides flexibility and capacity, which likely to mean that the building's long-term viability and use is protected if you design it that way. A reminder that at all stages we have sought professional advice, both legal advice, procurement advice, VAT, hospitality advice, and that we tender and secured our design team and our current contractor via an open procurement exercise. So in terms of has this been carried out properly, I think the answer to that question would be yes. That one of the challenges we have had with is securing the licence and lease agreement that we need to proceed with the building from Cheshire East. And as you will see, that we now have a new electrical supply required for the building that will require the granting of a way leave in all likelihood from Cheshire East. My view to the fellow councillors is, having operating in development across the northwest of England, very common that most local authorities are challenged by a lack of resource in their planning and estates departments. It's the consequence of the last period of austerity. That sort of capacity takes time to rebuild. It takes a period of years before it comes back. And I think when we see that delay from colleagues in Cheshire East, I think that's a sign of that lack of capacity in the system. So perhaps we should be mindful of that when we think about it, but we can't proceed with the building at the moment because those things have not been granted to us. I suspect that we would expect further months of delays before they are. And that also includes the trust, trustee issues in terms of the existing charity that was transferred to Cheshire East. The other thing to bear in mind is construction. This is a particularly challenging period to make construction projects viable. I could give you a long story about macroeconomic conditions, supply chains. I think it would be mindful to remember after what's called the Liz Truss budget, a significant increase in construction costs happened thereafter. Unfortunately, they have not yet reduced. So viability is a challenge, not just for this project, but for a lot of construction projects at the moment in the Northwest, including some that I am dealing with personally at the moment. A couple of things beyond that. I think we have established we've undertaken a detailed value engineering exercise to try and challenge the designers and our contractor to come up with a scheme that is viable to the council. I think you see the results in the report. I think having done that and looking at the level of risk that still exists in terms of ground conditions and further delays, that the scheme, I would question its viability and its value for money now. So having considered that, as I was requested to do it and as the working group were asked to do, my advice to the council, having considered 3 options of continuing as is and spending the money, which you see in the report, of continuing with a 2-storey building but redesigning it and then accepting the delay that will come with that redesign, or looking at a single-storey building and doing the same thing, delaying, redesigning and resubmitting. My advice to the council is to pause the project. And for those listening, pause does not mean cancel. It's a very different word. Pause, redesign, look at whether we can come up with a scheme that fulfills the requirements of the council and the future generations in Macclesfield. And then, having done that, consider resubmitting a planning application and then proceeding with the building. So it is a pause, not a cancel. It would be my recommendation to the council today.
Thank you very much, Councillor Livingston. Do we have any comments, Councillor Wilcock?
Thank you, Chair. A couple of questions. So, with let's say, if we were to pause and then look at let's say, for example, 1-storey, what would the electricity supply, would that still need to be upgraded, or, in your opinion?
Without doing calculations, I think you could probably find that supply would have to be increased anyway. I think it's the building that's here at the moment doesn't draw a lot of power. Modern buildings tend to draw more power.
Obviously, we're sat here, we had the Councillor Wilson's mayoral tea party with the design, and it was all looking fantastic. We were so excited. And again, there's been a lot of plans that town council have had, and we seem to be coming up against the same people who are kind of not wanting to, but blocking what we're looking at doing, which is Cheshire East Council. It's disappointing that the light in the Middlewood Way, Cheshire East Council said something. We're sat here now looking to try and get the charitable trust, which Cheshire East Council owns. Is just disappointing to hear. An asset that could be used for as you said, for generations to come, for the generations of Macclesfield. It's just disheartening to see that Cheshire East Council aren't doing what we're asking them to.
I think it would be fair that I share the same frustration. I think there's 2 parts in this. One, we need to resolve those issues and continue to pursue the resolution of those issues, so that when we have got in a position where there is a design that is viable, we can then proceed at pace. Because one of the things with construction is you need to proceed at pace when you're ready to proceed. I think that's one of the challenges with doing anything. I think, as you know, Councillor Wilcox.
Councillor Harewood.
Thank you, Chair. I think I would use the word disappointing to the South Park Pavilion project. I hoped it would have been okay. current information is that it is not. And I wonder if we can really look at what the possibilities are that are solid, rather than the possibilities that are just not solid. I don't know, I am not a builder, but it seems that at the moment it is halted. Can we look at what we can really do, or just what we would like to do but can't? Is there a conversation? What we can really do with the Soul Park Pavilion, rather than what we would like to do as a community space and this and that and that. What can really happen within that time, 3 to 4 years, rather than let it go on infinitum, you know. I'm very disappointed with it. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, do we have any other comments at all that we want to put? Councillor Wilson?
Well, I think we're all disappointed in where we are with all of this. It has to be one of my biggest disappointments that we're in this situation. But I guess when you start a project of this size and importance, any delay that happens just simply increases the cost. I think the paper we've got in front of us does cover what the options will be. There are 3 options here for us to consider going forward, but when we do decide to proceed, we need to proceed, and I hate the word, at pace. So we need to make sure that once we are in a position to go ahead, we can just get on with it. So there are 3 options here. In terms of the situation regarding Cheshire East and the legal agreements, the pavilion is under a charitable trust. Formal approval is required to build in the park. My definition of building in the park isn't actually is building something brand new, not replacing something. But we are anticipating that we'll find out late summer. We've got 2-storey design, redesign the 2-storey scheme, look at a single-storey facility. So we do have options to think about. But I do think at this moment in time, the key thing is to keep pushing Cheshire East Council to give us a decision on that. Legal matters aren't quick, and they're definitely pedestrian at Cheshire East Council. So I think that we have a number of options, but we have a number of things that we have to ascertain, and they're on the under the current status proposal. So I think that the sensible, the hard thing is to say we'll pause, we'll think about it. Carrying on regardless will be very easy, but that's not the brave decision. The brave decision is to say we're not in a position to proceed and we'll need to consider the options, and that will take some time, and that will mean we do have to wait for some the legal issues to be resolved, and I mean once hopefully by the next meeting those will be resolved and we'll be able to decide how to go forward. Disappointing, but not the end of the road as far as I'm concerned.
Councillor
Just to reiterate what Councillor Wilson has said, it is disappointing. But these sort of buildings are not easy to realise. I think we know as a council what we deem to be a viable sum of money to spend on the building. We also know from the experience of if we build just a single-storey building, the danger that will bring in terms of its long-term use. Once you've built it, it's very difficult then to extend it, particularly within that park. So I think we need to be mindful of those things. It is a pause, but it does allow us to reconsider. It allows us to reconsider and come back and look at the design again. It is quite a technically challenging but beautiful design. That probably can be simplified, would be my advice to the council. So I think it's disappointing, but I think we need to balance ambition and disappointment at the same time. We need to be ambitious for the town and look at this as an investment and an opportunity to invest and show that. And I think my view and guidance to the council is we need to see this through and make sure it actually happens, because that will be the challenge we get back from our residents.
Do we have any other comments at all? No. So, Councillor Livingston, do you want to put your proposal
Yes,
forward?
I would formally propose to the council that we pause, reflect and come back with a revised 2-storey design.
Thank you very much. Do we have a proposal? Do we have a seconder?
Yeah.
Councillor Wilson. So if we're all happy to move to the vote, all those in favour of pausing for the interim? Thank you very much. Councillor Howard, are you abstaining or are you voting?
Yes.
Abstaining. Thank you very much. So then item 11 is the Parks and Play Areas report, which is one I'm very pleased about myself. Do you want to talk about that one, introduce it?
Yes, so we have a budget for parks and play areas every year. As you'll recall, 25,000 or 35,000 has gone to the showstopper at West Park to add to the money we had last year, which meant the further 75,000. One of the next in line, if you like, next ward in line was Central. So we have spoken to Cheshire East Council bracket ANZA, so you know that who look after the parks, and we had a look at the different play areas and parks in Central, and they have come back suggesting the best place for the money to be used would be in South Park to do up the small children's area, which is over 30 years old, I believe, and it would complement the accessible equipment we put in. So that is the proposal from Cheshire East, and obviously the Central Ward councillors. It is in Central Ward with a little bit in South Ward, but it is a park that's used by everyone really in the town and visitors.
Thank you very much. I think, just if I may, first of all, I think it's amazing to see South Park. We're trying our best with the pavilion, but whilst we can't necessarily proceed with that, it's good that we're trying to upgrade the play area. I remember going and playing on all of this equipment that's existing when I was a kid. It hasn't changed a great deal in the past 20 odd years since I was playing on it, so I really welcome the proposals that we've got, and I think it would be fantastic to see one of our most used parks get the well-deserved upgrade that it needs. So do we have anybody want to make any comments at all on that? No? Councillor Livingston?
Yeah, I think it is the right proposal. I think it does upgrade that rest of the play equipment in South Park, which benefits both South Ward and Central Ward. So I'm content.
Thank you very much. If there's no other comment there, Councillor Wilson.
Yes, I just want to second the proposal. One of the beauties of investing in South Park is it benefits a very wide range of residents, both in my ward in Macclesfield South and in Central Ward. It's the biggest park in Macclesfield South Park, and it's also in the sort of like West Park type of size and facility. One of the beauties of our budget for parks and play areas is we spread it around all the wards on a rotating basis. So we invest, this year £110,000, but we make sure that each ward benefits, and I think that's one of the important things about this, that we keep going round, we do large projects and then we do smaller projects. This is a sort of medium-sized project, but South Park hosts Macclesfield Park Run, and the numbers of people who've go to the park, who found the park because of things like Park Run and the orienting cycling events that are there. If you go through the park as I do on my way to work and back every single day, it's always very, very well used, and so I'm happy to second this proposal.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wilson. Do we have any other comments? No. So who's proposing it? Sorry, Councillor Livingston, and then you're seconding. Yeah. Perfect. So are we all content to vote then, please, in favour of the works to go on South Park? Thank you very much. That's unanimous. And then we've got item 12, which is the Town Centre Regeneration Working Group report. So, Councillor Wilson, do you want to speak on that first of all?
Yes, thank you, Chair. We did discuss the town centre regeneration in respect to the business improvements district at length in a previous agenda item. I think the one thing I would just like to reiterate really is what an excellent event we had on the 17th of May, when not only did we have the town centre regeneration working group consultation with members of the public, we did that in collaboration with Tim Rocker, our local MP. It was a very well attended public consultation. it was the start of the process. We do have other thoughts about having specific events to encourage young people, and we may do other events, but this report brings forward the initial proposals that have come forward both from that event and also from the online consultation. And it's very encouraging and very pleasing to see the levels of positivity from people engaging in this consultation about Macclesfield and how it could be improved further, and welcoming the improvements already made. I've become very disappointed when I hear people doing our town down. I think that's grossly unfair, and I think that the work that's been done, that we've discussed this evening on other agenda items, is always an improvement project. And you know, it's interesting to see that residents asking for things that we are doing already in terms of you know, sort of the public realm, cleanliness, all those sorts of issues, and we've taken action on the bid in an early agenda item, so all good stuff.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wilson. Do we have any further comments? Councillor
Yeah.
Winston?
Thank you. I think it was a great event. It was well managed by the Town Council staff, I think, and the MP staff. I think a couple of reflections. I think that working with the MP and Cheshire East councillors, it's about drawing more funding into the town centre, and the funding that is available being spent to bring some of particularly the public realm areas up to scratch and to pedestrianise more of the town centre. It's clearly one of the objectives we've set. We've seen investment in the indoor market. We've invested in the toilets in the indoor market, and it's about seeing that opportunity. I think it's also that reflection when our young people who was at the event, that they don't come into the town centre to go shopping. I think that view of what a town centre is changing. They come in, well, it is controversial, but they go across the road to that coffee shop that I'm not going to name. And it's seeing the town centre in a different way. It's about hospitality, it's about people who live here, rather than, and it's probably going back to what it would have been probably after the last war, rather than what it is now. So I think there's a positivity, and one of the things I think we will look at is the town centre recovery groups, how we deal with some of the empty shops,
Yes.
and whether it's worth the town council thinking about funding, just improving the outside of them, so they're less of an eyesore. So I think drawing Cheshire East and Cheshire East were actively here on the day, and I think thank you to Joe and the team for coming. I think they made a great contribution.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other comments? Councillor Harewood?
I would like to comment on the, I don't know, we're doing the online consultation together with this. I can't comprehend, I should say, why the town centre activities does not always, mostly does not, include the other areas or advertise in the other areas. I think just a board, like how there is one out here, could be in the other areas. You will get more people, because being online is not the best option, as far as I could see. And it's not inclusive somehow, that you don't know what's going on in the town centre, can't get, because the buses stop at 5:30. You don't know what's there. And if some more effort is made to say what's on, with positivity online, I think it will help the whole of Macclesfield, but that is not the case. I don't know what, maybe the problem is you don't have anybody, but cannot one of the shops or somewhere there, because there is a shopping area, be tasked with the advertising of what goes on in the town? I think that's the simplest thing if you want to do it. Why is that inclusion never done? Because I walk through Western Park and it's nearly empty all the time. And it has good facilities now. It's nearly empty. It has no lights. Why does not one event happen there? It happens in the other parks. A lot happens, but nothing actually happens there? Is there a possibility that something might happen like five-a-side football or rounders or an event of some sort? Because that had in the past happened. But it's just a dead area that nothing happens. Is there some view that Western Park may be included? Just a thought. Well, I'm asking, can Western Park not be included?
Thank you, Councillor Howard.
Yeah.
Councillor Wilson, do you want to come in?
Well, the online consultation, there was also available paper copies for that, because I certainly distributed a number of paper copies around my ward to give people the chance to comment. This particular project is about regenerating the town centre, and one of the issues of importance in regenerating the town centre is increasing footfall into the town centre. And so in my ward, where residents in my ward are able to participate, is they get the free buses into town, to come into town to enjoy the town centre development and the recreation and events there. Posters are available, and I'm certain that they can be made available to all councillors to put up in their wards to advertise events that are taking place. But my view is the town centre belongs to all of us. It's something that we've all got a vested interest in seeing an improvement. So in terms of Western Park and an event in Western Park, I would just suggest that you have a chat with Councillor Hutchinson and use some of your ward budget to put an event on in Western Park or do stuff locally, because certainly in Macclesfield South, myself and Councillor Hale have used some of our budget to put a brilliant children's treehouse climbing frame in that is mentioned in the paperwork. So funds are available for local activities in parks and play areas. Western Park may well be considered as funds come to Western Ivy in the Great Master Plan of preparing parks and play area improvements. So I think that's the way forward in terms of getting improvements in Western Park. We do have play events that take place across the community, not just in the town centre. I'm sure the town clerk can have further examples.
With regard to what's going on in town, I know Abby, the comms officer, puts bollards everywhere across each estate. They're around all the shopping centres.
One in front of the Western shops.
One at the Western shops. So those who try bollards, I see them everywhere and I think, what have we got here? Yeah, so Abby's deliberately picked all the shops in each estate where they are. We're on the radio, so we go on the radio and we have adverts on the radio, and the events have to go on the radio or Abby once a month to talk through everything we do. The reason we have events in the town centre is to bring the footfall, because this is the concentrated part where the businesses are. The things that tend to go on in the wards tend to be, like for instance, Create are doing a play out, and Councillor Wilson often helps, but it's not actually organised by Town Council. It might be sponsored by Town Council, but it's not actually organised by us. So I think in terms of communications, I think we're really inclusive. I think we're very, very inclusive. It's not everything's just online. There's lots of posters, lots of paper copies. We've got banners for 1261. There's always posters for you can take. That is no problem. And for the parks, we did do a call out last year because we have something in West Park. I think we have street sports in West Park, South Park, Priory and Banbury, and we offered to do something in Western Park, but nothing came back. But that can be added because community sports just do it. If we can find a night, they can add that. So and Western Park was, I think, in the past 3 years, it's had new basketball nets. It's had the skate park was done up and it was painted. So it hasn't been neglected, if you like. It's all gone in the sort of same process. And if you want to do something, we're happy to give advice. What we can't do is probably run an event for you because it would be quite tricky because it's concentrated here because a thriving town centre is so important to the whole town.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. May I make a plea for more notices for our notice boards, please? I
More.
asked for them until I'm blue in the face.
There is some posters upstairs, David. I'll get them for you before.
Thank you so much.
Is it more notices of what's going on, not just more things to give you notice about, if you know what I mean? Yeah.
Things coming up, yeah.
And yeah, absolutely.
Thank
And
you.
councils can always come in and get those, and Abby will do call out, so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? No? Cool. Well, can I first of all just, before we move to a note in the report, thank you, Councillor Wilson, for chairing the group and everyone involved. I was at the event, obviously ringing the bell, making sure everyone moved around. It was a great event, and for me, it was really nice to hear so many positive things, and getting lots of different stakeholders like CVS, etc. involved. And Councillor Wilson, you touched on it before about some of the negativity we get, and I think it is very disheartening. I'm very proud to be from Macclesfield, and I love this town, and too often we get all this negativity and people talking the town down, when I think as a town council we do everything we can and we're always open to new ideas. So I think this is a fantastic report, and I really welcome the work that the group's doing, and I'm sure most of our residents do as well. So if everyone's content to note the report, then we can do that. Thank you very much. And then the final thing is...
Before we close the meeting,
Yeah.
there's just one other thing I'd like us to mention this evening. I'd like us as a town council to pass on our congratulations to the Lionesses for their absolutely superb entertainment and nail-biting.
Even I will pass the congratulations.
I was looking at you when I said it.
I know you were.
Yeah, I think that we've been done proud by our women's national football team, and I would like us to add our congratulations to everybody else's. I watched all of the matches, and I did say last night to my family, it's not worth watching the first 90 minutes, nothing's going to happen. But basically, they've done us proud, and I want to add our thanks to the town council to our national women's football team. And the reason I want to do this is because we as a town council have worked really hard over the past number of years to improve the access and facilities for girls football in Macclesfield. Whenever we've dealt with football team requests, whenever we've had requests for funding, for support, for shirts, when Macclesfield Football Club, we came up from the Phoenix Light from the Ashes, we all the way through, in every discussion we had, we focused on the importance of boys and girls football and encouraging girls to play football. And I hope that both young men and women across the nation are seeing really good role models in our Lionesses. I'm beyond proud.
I couldn't agree more, and yeah, I think they're definitely doing our country proud, so I think that's fantastic to hear. Brilliant. Then the final item is to say the next meeting of full council will be on the 22nd of September. Hopefully you will have Councillor Gilman back and you won't have to deal with me again until next year when I'm the mayor. But thank you all for your patience, and yeah, thank you very much.
And I think you've done a brilliant job.
Thank you. We've got another year without me now.
Nationals, please stand.
Good bit of practice.
Yeah.
You know,